So what was the first order of business on the
All right.
main discussions?
First news story is a story that's very close to our hearts because, we cover CW every week. They are expanding back to 6 nights a week. Now,
R.I.P. Sleep.
yeah.
So
Good God.
this means they're adding a new show, right? Like I'm not
I mean,
crazy.
presumably.
Well, wait, hang on. No, Teen Titans is in production, isn't it?
That's
Fox,
going on their WB streaming service or something.
Oh, CW Seed. Okay.
Yeah. No, they have a separate one, I guess. I don't know what it is.
They do?
I don't remember the details of the Teen
They've become too powerful.
But I don't know. It's maybe it is CWC. I can't actually remember. But
I would say because honestly, CW Seed is probably one of the better free streaming services I've come across because they have, especially for comic book lovers, they have all of Constantine.
Right.
They have several good animated DC movies, and I think they have they collected every episode of Birds of Prey. Which, hey, if you want to go down that route, knock yourself out. It's there.
Cool, man.
If that's what you want, I mean...
It's there for you if you've been looking for it.
I like putting my hand on the stove. It'll be fun.
Here's the thing. I was very young when that came out. Hunter also. Both of us.
Yeah,
little
very
babbies.
Okay,
when it
I
came
was
out.
also very young when that came out.
No, but
I don't remember it.
Well, that's what I was getting to. Me and Hunter, we don't remember anything, probably. I remember trailers for it. That's about it. So I would be interested in going back and rewatching it to see what's there. And
Quite frankly, I think we should probably do a special on it just because it's there.
yeah, I mean, perhaps there's a new edition of Phantom Zone called From the Vault that we might be working on, and perhaps we'll do a thing about it. Who knows? But no, when we initially heard the story, we assumed that they meant 6 of the DC shows because it's us, and we're automatically going to assume that. The actual story is they're opening up Sunday nights again. They used to have shows on Sunday nights, just their regular programming. But they stopped because Sunday nights was their family hour. You know what I mean? Stuff like Seventh Heaven and that, type of, fluffy
Boy, the family
stuff.
values in that show of age like milk.
Yeah. Just look up the male lead of Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, the actor.
The child molester.
The actor who played a reverend on the show.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Funny off-topic story. So me and my roommate Ashley are on our way to work, and actually we're leaving work, and a commercial for Jared's Jewelers comes on the radio, and she's like, "Connor, go to Jared." I'm like, "Why would I go? What are you talking about?" She's like, "Go to Jared." I'm like, "Why would I go to get jewelry?" She's like, "No, the Subway guy." I was like, he's in prison, right? And she was like, "What did he do?"
Oh no.
Oh no.
We need to break into this forward.
Oh my.
Oh no.
And then I was like, "Oh my god,
blissfully
I get
unaware.
to tell you for the first time in your life what happened to Jared Fogle, the Subway guy? Strap the fuck in."
Yeah, in a way, I think that would be fun to have to tell that story to somebody.
Yeah, kind of.
Because she's going, what?
I mean,
God.
it would definitely make that South Park episode much funnier if you explained it to her. So,
Oh
yeah.
man, God.
Such a
Anyway,
good episode.
continue.
But no, 6 nights, and here's the thing: that still does mean something for what we do. They're only opening it up because they think that they have material that can get ratings, and they're opening it up so that they have more space to put stuff during the week. So that means a couple things. For one, new show.
Arrow and the Outsiders.
Hey, I'm in. I am in. Or they go back on what Connor told me that one of their producers said a couple weeks ago, which is that they never intend to have more than 4 shows running at the same time or something of that nature.
They specified superhero shows.
Yes.
They want to have more than 4 running at a time.
So they might go back on that if this is true, because they'll have more
you're
nights open.
Saying there's going to be a vigilante show.
No, I'm saying the 5 shows we have currently might start running at the exact same time in the future if this 6-night thing goes through. And I think that also gives them the space to maybe add another show. Or that's why they opened up the space. My guess is that they'll be moving Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Jane the Virgin.
Oh, hell yeah. My favorite shows.
Which are not for us. They're not for us, but here's the thing. Those shows are both critically loved, and the people who watched them loved them. So I could see...
Dude, my only wrestling podcast left I listened to spent the first 35 minutes of their show talking about Jane the Virgin.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Even though I don't approve of the use of Crazy and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, I get that there are people who like it, and I get why they like it. So that show can weather moving to a Sunday night, because most people who watch it don't watch it live.
This is good for their comic book stuff, because, like Ed said a long time ago, he's boldly predicted that the CW DC universe is going to survive for a long time.
Yeah.
Despite its current quality issues.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things going on. I think we are hitting the stretch of episodes that will be most affected by 1/3 of the people who are running the show leaving, or not leaving, being fired.
Being cast out onto the island.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's...
Like in Dark Knight Rises, they have to cross the ice like...
God damn it.
I would fucking shoot the ice beneath Andrew Weisberg.
He's like the guy from
Torchwood.
Torchwood. But yeah, no,
Why are you adding more ice to the water?
God damn it.
I want to make sure he doesn't have a chance to get back out.
But yeah, like, I totally foresee them either going back on that of 4 superhero shows running at once, or just adding another show in general. Which is something I've been speculating for a long time, that they'll add another show. That they'll add another show to balance out the fact that they have 3 shows that are all in the same universe. Whatever the new show will be, I don't think it will be Arrow and the Outsiders. I think it will be something completely original.
I'm thinking there might be another show, honestly. I think there's just too many characters. They're just like, oh, maybe we could... I hope, well, at least I'd hope they'd be like, maybe we should, like, give some other people some room to play with.
Yeah.
Well, consolidating their characters is a good idea right now, because we have been saying for so long how we think Wally West in The Flash has been criminally displaced, I guess the word you could use. But now he's apparently going to be on Legends, which I thought was going to be this week, and it wasn't.
No.
So I guess it's next week.
Well, because Constantine was there, and they didn't want I think they didn't want people to get confused and think they're both staying.
What if Constantine's coming back?
I feel like we would have heard about that by now.
Yeah, we would have.
Like
that and the animated show is still coming, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Like,
yeah,
I'd be down with a Constantine animated TV show. Hell yeah!
I want to get it out there now. I didn't watch Constantine when it was on. My bad. But this episode of Legends, got sold on Matt. Was it Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
That dude,
he's fucking awesome.
He is. He was never the problem with that show. I didn't watch it because the show was bad. It was like discount Supernatural, and not in a good way.
Yep.
It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think a better use for him is this, where he pops up every now and then and helps with the magical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I've said it for a long time. Do a Justice League Dark show. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Give
me my dead man.
I'm a big fan of the Constantine comic, at least the one that was running all through the 80s up until like the early 2000s.
Hellblazer?
Yes, Hellblazer.
Yeah.
Yes. Hellblazer was phenomenal. I think where they messed up with the Constantine TV show was that they were trying to go for too broad an audience. I think they should have gone a little bit more mature with it. I mean, as mature as they could go on a network. But I think that show would have survived much longer if they would have. Because I watched the first episode and I was like, this isn't very good. I don't
here's
like
the thing about John Constantine is he's a character who, like, give an example of what kind of like the shit he does. He tricked 2 demons into like giving him immortality.
Mm-hmm.
By like, I forget the exact details, but basically, if he dies, there'll be a giant war for his soul.
Yeah, he sells his soul to the 3 different rulers of hell, and it's because he's dying of lung cancer. They did that storyline. Well, they kind of did that storyline in the the Hellblazer movie, even though they fucked it up royally. But yeah, he sold his soul to 3 different demons that were the rulers of hell. And basically, if he died, like, they would have to fight to gain possession of his soul. And that one also famously has a scene in it where he flips off the devil as one of the last panels in, like, the second to last comic.
Oh, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you should really check out Hellblazer. It's quite
Hellblazer's
good.
really great.
I'll probably get to it when I finish the Nestro Wars, which is proving to be a fucking insane ride.
It's tons of fun.
I attained it.
Yes.
Just put it that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I didn't attain it. I just found it out in the ether.
God damn it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll add another show or not. But this makes it more likely though. This opens them up to add another show. That gives them an extra night of the week.
I will say I've been enjoying kind of the on again, off again schedule they've been doing for this year because it lightens our load as far as how much TV we have to watch.
Also, it means I don't have to watch Supergirl every week.
Yeah. For a while.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe the extra night of the week is just going to be them having an apology episode about what happened on Supergirl the last time you saw it.
We're sorry.
We're so sorry.
Melissa Benoist just comes on and just like sings and dances for an hour. I'd
Yeah, I'm
watch
okay with that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have her and Barry just fucking sing together. I'm done.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be into that.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I guess anybody have any thoughts? Any other sort of things
Not
about
really.
this?
I hope it's as good as Black Lightning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there's a new show, I hope it's as good as Black Lightning, which apparently lots of people like.
Like, get somebody who has an idea going in and a vision for what they want to do, regardless of if it connects to the universe, because that's working out so far.
Actually, speaking of just real quick on Black Lightning, I didn't bother to look up like any kind of critical reviews for it. I just seen people on Facebook saying, "Hey, I like it a lot." Someone mentioned that it was being just critically throttled, and I haven't bothered to check.
I don't think it is.
The problem,
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, the problem with TV criticism is TV critics, they rarely ever follow up with the show. Like, there are very few TV critics who are coming back week to week. And if they are, they're not doing it because they want to. It's because it's been assigned to them. So they don't...
Also,
yeah.
Well, that, and I don't think TV, it's all about ratings, isn't it? It's not about reviews.
Yeah.
Like, no one gives a shit what a TV critic says.
It's only really for the advertising of the show, and they only pick out the good reviews anyways. So it's
I don't know. The only thing I've seen is that, and it's connected to Black Panther too. That how there was the campaign to give Black Panther a abysmally low user review score on Rotten Tomatoes, which didn't work.
Fuck off.
So these terrible people went back to their home planet of or at least their home city of Mos Eisley, which was IMDb, and apparently ravaged it on the user scores there. Yeah, well, they don't have reviews on there anymore. But I was wondering, because I then looked at Black Lightning, just because Black Lightning is a predominantly black cast.
Oh God, why would you do that?
Well, but no, I just went to see what the user scores were, because once again they don't have reviews, and it was the exact same score that Black Panther was getting, which was a 6.6. So I'm just kind of wondering if possibly the reviewers were savaging it are actually just user reviews that are out there that people are confusing with actual reviews, because I've seen nothing negative about it.
Yeah, that's probably right, because IMDb is such a shitty website.
Holy shit.
IMDb still lists Mortal Kombat 3 as in production.
Well, okay, so here's the problem. It's a site where if you have an account, or if you have an IMDb Pro account, which you can sign up for free, and just go in and, like, fuck with shit. And just be like, I'm outie.
It's like Wikipedia for movies.
Right, you can sign up and then your account expires, but you can come back at any time.
Oh, how wonderfully deceitful. I can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you can
but thankfully they got rid of the user reviews.
Yeah, but like,
they're no longer there.
So you can go on and you can say blank is cast as blank. So like, I found out that Harvey was going to become Two-Face like 2 days before I ever saw The Dark Knight.
Too. And hey, in regards to removing user reviews, hey, Rotten Tomatoes, you might want to consider this.
Well, yeah.
People website for evil.
Well, it's because if they remove it, people will complain. And also, I don't think anybody. Now. Yeah, but I don't think anybody pays attention to user reviews. I don't anymore. Like,
no.
In a perfect system, the way it works is you look at the critic's review and you look at the user review, and you assume that the reality is probably somewhere in the middle, right? And that's what you go in expecting.
Or you formulate your own opinion after watching it.
I know, but I'm saying going into it so that you know what you're spending your money on. So if you see a user review and it says 70% and it's a horror movie, and the critic review is 30%, the movie is probably closer to a 50%. Because critics watch this shit all day, every day. They get bored of this shit. They don't care about ghosts and fucking serial killers and shit. They don't care. They don't give a fuck.
Everybody hates horror movies in regards to the press.
Well, they're at the point where their eyes are literally bleeding because they've seen the same plot points over and over again.
I
Yeah.
don't think unless you're specifically a horror person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's critics have a different opinion on these things because they see so many movies. That's a good thing and a bad thing. But you should not just assume that the critics are right, but you have fans who are ruining the fan ability to give us their reviews because you have people going in there. I've talked about this story many times. The motherfuckers who decided that The Godfather and The Godfather 2 didn't deserve to have better reviews on IMDb than The Dark Knight. That's when I quit IMDb.
Like, I was very outspoken in the fact that, like, once Logan came out, I was like, nope, Dark Knight, you're out. Like,
Logan,
you're not the best anymore.
Logan is such a good movie, but like I think it's funny. Like, you even mentioned that to some people nowadays, and they're like, "Oh, what? No."
Honestly, I enjoyed The Dark Knight. Don't get me wrong, but I haven't had the urge to go back and rewatch it at all.
Well, it's
recently.
kind of like in the same like Fury Road. I don't need to watch Fury Road anytime soon because I saw it 12 times the first year.
Yeah, good point.
I saw Dark Knight 5 times in theaters. That movie plays on a loop in my brain. I don't even watch it.
Yeah.
Love that movie, but it's also it's gonna age, and things that come out, they're gonna take what it did and they're gonna do it better. So
also, like Dark Knight has achieved Die Hard status in terms of TV broadcasts. I think like it has to be one of those movies that it's on somewhere, like all day, every day, and that's how I would watch it usually. I've watched that movie more than I've watched most
if I
movies.
did come across like maybe a potential girlfriend or friend who was like, hey, I never saw it, but I kind of want to. Well, fucking sit down, because guess what's gonna happen?
Yeah. It's just I don't know.
All right, what's next on?
Oh wait,
the
before we moved on, I just wanted to say I had one wild, crazy hope that with a potential new show on the WB or CW, sorry. Could it please be Animal Man or Swamp Thing? Could it please?
Oh, I'd watch the Swamp Thing show.
Eric, you don't know.
I would.
You don't even know.
Either one of those would make me the happiest boy that ever lived.
Or, as I've been pitching for years, Animal Man and Swamp Thing, the TV show.
Yes.
And just do the Snyder and Lemire run. Yes. And just adapt those runs.
And every now and then adopt an Alan Moore story, so like his hair gets gray. He's like, yeah.
But like if you adapt those runs, because you already have a story that was written to go back and forth. The proper way to read their runs is for the first 18 issues is to read issue 1 of Swamp Thing, issue 1 of Animal Man, or vice versa. And you go back and forth. And it's a story about one guy who is way too powerful for the situation, and another guy who's underpowered, and their stories and how they interweave until they team up.
Is that the run where they united the red and the green?
Yes.
They kind of made it the same concept.
They basically established that they've been in this millennia-long war with the Gray, and the Gray, and it's like rock, paper, scissors, basically. So whenever one of the kingdoms becomes too powerful, the other kingdoms have to unite to fight them. So when the Gray becomes too powerful, the green and the red have to fight together. When the red becomes too powerful, the Gray and the green have to fight together, and so on and so forth.
Have checks and balances?
Yes, basically. Yeah. So
cool.
So the book takes place when the Gray is becoming too powerful and the red can't do shit because their powers don't work against them. So it's fascinating.
Yeah. That's just my one dream.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the Kitty Pryde movie?
Yes. So that's the next story. Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, is working with Brian Michael Bendis, who did produce Jessica Jones, among many other things.
Well, I mean, it's his property. So.
Yeah, and Daredevil also. Major part of Daredevil. They are producing a movie titled 143 at the moment. Doesn't really have any of the title, because it's based off of a comic book titled that is number 143 in the issue run. So
it's Uncanny X-Men 143 is the favored one because
is this
it's
the one where it's Kitty Pryde alone in the X-Mansion fighting a demon for an energy?
on Christmas.
Yep.
It's an homage. It's an homage to Alien, by the way.
Gimme.
It's Die Hard with Kitty Pryde. I'm in.
If I remember correctly, it was also the last of Claremont's run on X-Men at that point.
It was around that time.
It was the last issue he wrote. Yeah.
It was around that time. But yeah, I'm excited about that because that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kitty Pryde, like, one thing I've always liked about her is, like, her power it's not great. Like, she can just go through walls. Like,
but the way I've seen it used is really fucking cool.
Yeah, no, she
like,
can use it.
I'm pretty sure she managed to kill Wolverine in one of those Elseworld stories because she phased her hand into his brain and just kind of basically plucked it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then he just died in agony.
Well, what I mean is like, as a character, she's kind of vulnerable. Like, she's not Wolverine. She's not like Cyclops. Cyclops can, like, blast you in a million bits.
This design is very Alien, by the way. I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
or something.
It was an homage to Alien.
It totally is.
Even the way she kills it is an homage to Alien.
Well, like, the shape of this creature is so...
It's a xenomorph.
It's a xenomorph. Like, it has bones sticking out. It's green. It has suggestive jaws. The big major difference is it has eyes.
She blows the door off the mansion, and the pressure differential sucks it outside of it.
Fuck, God damn it!
It's a hell of a tornado. That's it. That's what happened.
Yeah,
Tornado that killed John Kent.
Her dad shows up.
Yeah.
Thomas is just
Thomas Wayne shows up with a saddle over tornado, going, "Hang on, kitty."
No, I don't know. Kitty Pryde has been one of my favorite X-Men characters for a long time, and
she is great.
If you've never read it before, check out Astonishing X-Men because she is so good in that. The Joss Whedon run of Astonishing X-Men, she is so good.
She has a demon, gargoyle thing. Lockheed.
Yeah, Lockheed. Yep. Yeah, he's actually an alien.
She punks Juggernaut in their fucking X-Men 3 movie.
I'm the Juggernaut.
You know that. Okay, you know what blows my mind about that is that the meme I'm the fucking Juggernaut bitch got so big that they put it in a movie.
And now if you go back and watch it, like if you forgot about the meme, you're like, why is that there?
Yeah.
That is the only reason Juggernaut was in that movie.
That movie comes to me in bits and pieces because I was very drunk when I was watching it.
And I really like Juggernaut, and I'm kind of like upset.
Remember
he's a great character. When he's conflicted and just interesting. But
yeah, I'm still every time I see him in a comic book page or anywhere though, like I can't help in the back of my head. No, I hear, nah, motherfucker Charles, I'm gonna kill you, Charles. I'm gonna kill you with Charles, okay?
Eric, you might know what book this is, but there's a book where like the X-Men go to like fight this like mold creature, this like mold man.
Oh, I kind of know what you're talking about.
And they like get there and like Juggernaut is there, and they're like being absorbed by this like mold mutant.
No, I'm not sure.
I don't know what it is.
At all.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about. I don't know the exact issue.
But
to be honest, that could be so many different X-Men storylines I've read and forgotten at this point. So
it sounds like a Star Trek episode.
It's definitely an aughts. It's definitely an aughts story because I remember being like 9 maybe and like going to like my local library and checking out like a single issue of X-Men. Because Juggernaut was on the cover and being I'm into this.
Do you know what my first ever issue of X-Men, single issue of X-Men I ever bought was an issue where it was part of like this X-Men event they had where they were all becoming vampires.
What?
At one point, they fight Dracula.
Oh my.
Oh wow.
I'm in.
It's great.
God, the first issue I ever bought. Go ahead.
I have it framed somewhere, actually.
Of course you do.
Nerd.
No, the first issue I ever bought of that was the issue where Jim Lee was in and Chris Claremont was back. So it was like the X-Men issue 1 that had like the 4 different covers that all connected. Like this was probably 92 or 93, maybe. I can't remember. None of you were born yet, so it doesn't matter. I was busy finishing a bottle of rye every night working as a longshoreman. So
I can't finish my joke. Connor will kill me.
Really? Well, now you better get it out, or I'll kill you anyway.
No, I was about to say Connor was like a senior in high school around that time.
Oh, fuck off.
God damn it.
No, I was 3 years away from being a senior in high school.
I don't think I was even old enough to know who the president was.
Probably not.
Oh, God. Well, it's time for me to go die. Somebody just get the Viking funeral ready.
Yep.
Hey, at least no one told you were half dead when you turned 30.
God damn it.
Wait, did I say that?
No, a coworker of mine, like before my 30th birthday, she's like, "You're gonna turn 30? Wow, you're like half dead."
As if you're gonna die at 60, like motherfucker.
Anyways.
No, most likely you're going to live much, much longer.
Yeah. But no, I'm into this movie. I want Ellen Page. I mean, am I the only one that wants this?
I don't know if we'll get that, but
we won't. That ship has sailed.
Yeah,
they're gonna do a much younger Kitty Pryde, guaranteed.
After everything that happened with Bryan Singer, will be
shocked.
And
it would
Brett
be Tim
Ratner.
Miller, who had nothing to do with that. But I see what you mean.
It's not just like, I think it's probably really personal for her because of what he did. Is like super fucked up.
Well, no, that was Brett Ratner who did that. That wasn't.
Wait, what? That was. Oh, I thought that was Bryan Singer.
That was only Ratner,
No.
but Singer was a producer, and he didn't do anything to help.
No, he didn't.
And he's known for being kind of erratic on set, and he wasn't the best director during Days of Future Past.
Oh.
And that shows.
Yeah, it does. It really does. If
Bryan
you ever watched that film,
Singer isn't very good.
What? No, I would never say that. But no, like he wasn't. He did not give everybody a good experience. That's why he got kicked off the Freddie Mercury movie, among other things.
Thank God.
Yeah. But like, I would really love it if she came back to the role, and I think the prospect of a starring role might bring her back if she likes the script. But I see what you mean about a younger Kitty. But only, I think that there are a couple of things. You know, if Deadpool was in the movie somehow, and he addressed it, like...
Yeah.
But there's so many things, I guess. So many elements.
I think if they do the Demon story, it is going to be a horror comedy. Because I don't know if Tim Miller does serious things. Like, I've never really delved into what he does, other than Deadpool.
I mean, he did the DC Online trailers, so that's
what?
That's how he got Deadpool. He did those.
Oh yeah, he was part of Blur Studios. Wasn't
he did those trailers with like Wonder Woman fighting. Who the fuck was she fighting?
She's fighting Lex.
Yeah, she was.
Because Lex kills her.
Yep. Yeah,
wow.
fills her mouth full of kryptonite.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Blur Studios.
He fills her with kryptonite after he kills her, and then Superman goes to help her, and then he dies too.
Yeah.
That's
like
fucked up.
anytime you saw like CGI, like video game CGI, that you're like, holy god, that's amazing. That was Blur Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Like,
Yeah, that's how he got Deadpool. Because
they were the ones who put out that trailer, the one that leaked, quote unquote, years ago.
Yeah. Keep going. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really want this movie now.
Same.
Yes.
But
Just
like, my main reason for thinking they're going to go with a younger Kitty Pryde 2 is because they've gone to such lengths to reboot this X-Men universe that it would only make sense that they would have someone younger playing the character, and especially for that storyline.
Well, I mean, so a lot of things have to happen. This movie has to go into production before Disney finally takes the reins, and Fox has to decide, are they doing a new Professor X sometime soon?
Good point.
Also, Dark Phoenix has to come out, and when that comes out, a lot of decisions are gonna be made by what happens in the reaction to that movie and how good or bad that movie is. Like, if James McAvoy is gonna be in it, from everything that I've heard. If people like that movie, James McAvoy is presumably still gonna be Professor X. So I think the younger Kitty Pryde thing is probably correct.
I think what will happen if, like, say, I'm not saying it will happen, but say somehow the X-Men are put in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens. We're definitely getting a new Professor X. Like, they're.
Yeah,
I'm betting they'll recast everyone. Like.
Yeah, probably.
Except for Ryan Reynolds, because I think he's kind of like. He's the golden horse. He's not going to be in an Avengers movie. That's for sure.
Golden horse.
I think there are a couple things. I mean, I have a lot of theories. I think that the smartest thing Bryan Singer ever did was to say that the movies are set in the near future, which is his idea, and it's an idea that you have to give him credit for because it's how you would put them into the movies now. You say that any X-Men movies take place in the future, like 20 years ahead. That's how you explain it, and you have something happen that would produce mutants, that would cause them, so you can sort of so that's what I would do.
Shows up in the radiation from
right.
The
space radiation creates mutants. That's what I would do.
He has a gem that can rewrite reality. Why do you need a convoluted radioactive sword?
Well, no, even that. Okay, yes, you can do that, but unless it's Scarlet Witch doing it and rewriting her own reality so that she is a mutant, it doesn't really make sense.
And at that point, why would she do that?
Right. What would her reasoning be? Unless she, like, spoke to an alternate universe version of herself, and she was like, you know what, I like your universe better. I'm going to make mine more like yours.
Well, and in the comics,
all opposite House of M.
They retconned Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. They're no longer mutants.
Right. Well, that's where the alternate universe thing comes in.
Okay.
And also, she has universe. Her powers come from the Infinity Gems, which is why she's a character who she could rewrite reality as specifically as what you're suggesting, Connor, which is changing a universe that has had no hints of secret mutants up until now. To have for years there have been mutants and fighting over the mutants. It doesn't matter what version of X-Men you're doing. There's always been mutants, and they've been there for years.
You could expand on whatever. What the fuck was his name in the beginning of Avengers? Who had Loki's staff? The Russian dude, German guy.
Strucker.
Baron von Strucker.
Oh, Baron von Strucker. Yeah.
You could imply that maybe he went a little deeper with that technology and kind of maybe put like what you would call maybe a mutant seed into the gene pool somewhere.
He did like a reverse of Richard Grant in Logan, sort of. I could see that.
Or even go a different direction with it, saying like he just pulled out a natural ability that these people didn't realize they had, like some sort of latent talent that he made something that they could actually control them.
Again, the only problem is like Charles and Magneto need to have been doing this for years. Years, regardless of anything. They need to be at least 30 years older than the people that they're teaching. So you would need it to be that they're like the first of their kind and that they are, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 during the current run of MCU movies that we are in now. And they are mutants, and there just weren't many mutants. There just were like one or two, and then something happens that causes an explosion in the mutant population. Perhaps, I don't know, but they have to come up with some plot reason as to why there have been no mutants up until then, and now there's a bunch of them. Or
I think if anything,
separate universe.
If anything, it'll have to do with like shenanigans on either Thanos' part or even like Tony or like any of the science guys' part.
Oh, it fucking would be Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even Banner. Banner is another possibility also.
How hilarious would it be if just like Tony just like, oh no, you guys. Guess what I just did?
I created a new species of humans. I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault.
Well, and Arlen, with the idea that you have for how this would work, I'm actually very okay with it because that would mean Wolverine wouldn't be able to show up for a very long time.
Well, if we go by, again, if we say that there are mutants already, but there's just not that many of them.
Or
Wolverine...
you just don't know how many are out there.
Yes,
really.
so Wolverine would be out there, but he doesn't.
God damn it.
He doesn't have adamantium claws yet. He doesn't.
Okay.
He's just an immortal dude who's walking around. Yeah.
He just goes to the cab. He's like, "You remember me?
Yeah,
Bro, we
Yeah.
fought together."
Well, and that's the thing that I would see would be problematic, but they wouldn't be able to do for years, where they would have a new Cap cast, so they could potentially be like, oh yeah, I remember you from this. Like, let's say they go with Bucky is going to eventually become Cap. That would be their in, because Bucky was brainwashed for so long, but he could still have flashes of this other guy who might not have been working for America or the Russians, but he ran into on Black Ops he was on.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things you can do. They're gonna have to change Magneto's origin, regardless of any. Regardless.
Holy shit, they have to change that origin.
And there's a fairly close thing that they could do. He's a survivor of Bosnia Herzegovina, which isn't that long ago. A 12-year-old kid then is 30, 40 now.
It just dawned on me that being a Holocaust survivor is no longer culturally relevant because most of them are unfortunately dead.
Or just super
old. Yeah.
If you're 12 then, you're an old man now.
We're gonna be alive to see the fucking centennial anniversary of the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that day.
Welcome to the Chipper Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everybody.
But there are a lot of things they could do.
Also, I don't think Wolverine's gonna kill anybody.
No.
Or if he does, it's not. I mean, I don't want to spoil Black Panther for you guys, but there's some. They're not. I'm not gonna. But they don't hold back. Is all
They're
I'll
not
say.
playing with kid gloves anymore. Is what you're telling me?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But no, here's the thing. I think if I'm Disney and I'm smart, which I like to consider that most of the people over there, when it comes to superheroes, they are smart. When it comes to pirates and cowboys, not so much.
And properties that could have been amazing, but they decided to just call it John Carter and screw it up forever.
Oh God.
Also, Tomorrowland.
I'm still bitter.
Um,
Tomorrowland was okay.
Yeah, Tomorrowland. It's a flawed movie.
Bad.
No, okay, so
It's not bad.
That's an example where Connor getting up on his high horse about Rotten Tomatoes isn't such a bad thing. It's one of those few times where it's like, yeah, that's when you really, really should just judge for yourself because everybody has a different opinion on that one.
I think a lot of people were disappointed because they expected a lot more out of Brandon Bird.
I'm into this.
That's the one thing I can say.
I'm into this weird niche where Disney makes movies out of their rides. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I'm really interested in these movies. And all right, I'll check that out, I guess.
Well, Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't supposed to succeed, and then all of a sudden they had a franchise in their hands, and they slowly torpedoed it.
And I will maintain the first one's a good movie. That I like that movie.
The first one's great, and the second one has an abysmal ending, and the third one is a confusing disaster.
And then we don't talk about the other ones.
Except, I actually thought 4 was an improvement, but there's something to be said about 3 in that scene where fucking Davy Jones is standing in a bucket on a small piece of sand. I'm like, how did they get him there?
So dumb. But no, if they're smart, they'll just set it in another universe. That's the smart thing.
It'll be a parallel universe,
right? And just say that it's a universe that started with Deadpool. It's easy. It's there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It works. You have it. You can recast everybody from there because there are only
keep the guy who plays Colossus, please.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He's the only one who's been cast. It's him and Teenage Negasonic Warhead. That's it. All the other I guess they're coming out. They're adding new mutant characters, but they're not the main X-Men. They haven't cast Jean Grey. They haven't cast Scott. They haven't cast Wolverine in the Deadpool movies. They haven't cast any of the big players in X-Men.
They're waiting until Dark Phoenix comes along and inevitably just disappoints us all. So
So Disney can just start from there. And
I mean, Deadpool is the X-Men escape hatch at this point.
Yeah,
actually, I think there's some weird rumblings because I think Fox made some sly comments about how Dark Phoenix is going to change the landscape of superhero movies.
Not in the way that they think.
No, I think they're going to use it to blast open a door to some kind of multiverse or some kind of entry.
Maybe.
Which I'm into that idea. Just having them be like, hey, this is like its own separate thing.
Maybe. I think the literal meaning of that is they had a meeting with Disney, and Disney was like, if this sucks, we're not making a sequel to it. If it's great, we might let you make one when we take over. I think that's literally what that means.
That's the thing. The idea of the X-Men film being the first to go to a multiverse, that makes me so sad. That makes me so sad. There's so many other better film franchises. Hell, and God, this is going to sound bad, but even the Warner Brothers DC films, I would think would be more ripe for a multiverse than the.
Well, I mean, they've already come out and without actually saying it, came out and said that basically everything they've created, as far as in terms of adaptations, all exists in one multiverse.
Right.
So they basically said Barry Allen from the TV show could hop into the Dark Knight. He won't, but that door is there.
Well,
which makes sense because of the tonal differences between the shows, and just you could just be like, yeah, they're connected in some way.
Yeah.
It's a thing I like because I love, and even the Injustice games have actually Injustice 2. The entire, basically what is their arcade mode is called Multiverse, and you hop to different Earths and you fight variants of everybody else. It's kind of awesome.
They give at the end of it, they give this Ninja Turtle superpowers, and they beat the shit out of everyone.
Okay, real quick, I'll go over that again real fast in this show. The ending to the TMNT characters in Injustice 2 is that they are given the nano pills from the first Injustice that lets you basically take a punch from Superman and be super strong. Harley sprinkles it on a pizza, and they somehow send the turtles back to their dimension, and it's just a slow-mo kind of motion comic shot of the turtles fucking destroying Krang and Shredder. I think Leonardo's throwing a car at Krang.
God fucking
It's
damn
the fucking best.
That's a great image.
I'm having visions of Raphael holding Krang above his head and just ripping him in half.
What if that's the canon reason for the new movies? Why they're so beefy?
Whoa! Fucking DC steroids. And they said it they're we've been back to our universe as Ultra Turtles. I'm like, this is the greatest fucking fan service I've ever seen, and I need it to continue. Please, I take back what I said about a Turtles game. Make an IDW game, NetherRealm.
If it's the same people did Injustice, I'll play it.
God, put the G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters in there.
G.I. Joe, they have somewhat of the rights of
Ghostbusters.
Fighter. They have a bunch of shit you could do.
The Savage Dragon, the Transformers. Don't they have the Power Rangers?
That is
the comic book properties. They have all of those, I think. And I think they still have Star Trek, I believe.
They do.
Yep, they still do.
I went to their website today, and here's the thing. I was like, you could put Star Trek in there, but it had to be Worf. Only Worf.
I think the problem is it's different property rights owners with all of those things. So IDW has the comics.
Here's the thing with that. Their success with getting multiple characters from multiple studios and rights holders for Mortal Kombat is staggering because across 2 games they got Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, the Predator, and Alien.
Well, there's reasons for that.
Arlen, IDW is a company who got G.I. Joe and Street Fighter crossover. And
they did, but in the that's the thing. In comics, it's different.
It is different.
It's very different.
I'm saying.
And the rights holders of Freddy, they were never going to make a Nightmare on Elm Street game. That's why that happened.
God,
they were never gonna do that ever.
Not after the first one.
Oh God.
Because the last Freddy game that came out was. They did
on
an
NES,
Ash
on Nintendo.
Yeah, they did an Ash vs. the Evil Dead game, didn't they? Didn't that have Freddy and Jason in it? Why don't I know?
No, they did Evil Dead they did multiple Evil Dead games that were varying levels of bad.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
I played one
imagining
and
something
really
that I
enjoyed
wanted. Maybe.
Oh no! You're probably thinking that there is, and Joe brought this up movie dump chat. He came across a beta for a horror icon fighter that was completely unlicensed. Then it's 100% illegal.
That game.
Oh, is that the one that has like Pinhead and Tall Man?
Everybody.
Yeah.
It has
Tall Man.
Yep. It has Chucky in it.
You play a good game, boy.
If you could play as young Tall Man and old Tall Man in a game, that would be the best thing.
The only difference is Angus Scrimm's face is a little saggier.
Right.
You play a good game, boy.
The old Tall Man has like creatures that come out of his stomach and shit. It's so good.
Christ.
Ravager was insane, everybody, and if you've ever seen any of those movies, you should watch it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that movie with like the killer dummies or dolls or whatever? One has like a drill on its head.
Fuck.
Puppet
Master and Demonic Toys.
Yeah.
Why were those made?
Because Full Moon Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Full Moon Entertainment made Robot Jocks, which is secret
David
best
Goyer
robot movie ever.
Fuck.
So that David Goyer could eventually write The Dark Knight.
Exactly.
That was a full circle, people. That's what that's called. All right.
It's all connected. It's all connected.
Okay, what's next?